Hello, once again. I am Doc Rodden, and this is the Gruesome Guide to Horror Movies for the month of July 2021. Back from me again as the scariest, goriest, bloodiest co-host on the net, as podcasting rockstar and international cosplay queen, Vanessa. She also has the longest intro in the world. How you doing?
Worthy of the longest intro.
Absolutely. Well, here we are, 6 in a row. We didn't have that good of luck last year, unfortunately, but we're doing our gruesome guides each month to the top 8 most anticipated or must-see horror films of the coming month. We are doing July. We're into month 7, and things are looking up for theaters as more and more movies head to the big screen. In fact, the only 2 movies thus far as we're recording to have made 100 million since COVID are A Quiet Place 2 and Godzilla versus Kong. So definitely genre films are the things that people want to go see, and there's no shortage of it. Picking 8 this month was a challenge, but the 8 that we chose, I think, are standout. There are a couple that we could have done easily as honorable mentions, or grown to 10 or 12 even. But let's stick to 8 and let's get into it. Shall we just dive in? Yep, there she goes. All right, up first, coming out on July 2nd is The Forever Purge, coming from Blumhouse and Platinum Dunes, directed by Everardo Valerio Gout, I think is what we decided. We actually pronounced the name. This is the 5th, 6th, I don't know how many. It also has a TV show of the Purge series. This promises to be the last one. Our writer, James DeMonaco, who has been the director of all the films, has turned it over to Everardo with this one. And I know we're going to get to you in a second. I love these films. They are just a cheese fest, and they're a good time. It's just, they get better with each entry. This one promises to be even better as we get into The Forever Purge, which just sounds great. And look at the imagery on that poster; it looks fantastic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Vanessa, you may be starting to watch this franchise with the last one. Is that right?
It just might get me. I like the look and feel of this one. I mean, look at that hat. Can't get over that hat alone. No, I haven't seen any Purge movie. I've missed all the Purge movies, but something about this one, being from Texas, it's kind of calling to me.
And Latin.
Mm-hmm.
You got your. You don't have Mexican background? Do you have Puerto Rican?
No. No, I have Mexicans in my family, but I personally am not. Chilean and Dominican.
Dominican. There you go. That's what I was reaching out for, and I couldn't find it. But the cast in here, of course, is leaning in that direction. It's got a variety of people in it. Ana de la Reguera.
Yeah.
Reguera, right? Tenoch. Why am I having trouble? Tenoch, Huerta, Josh Lucas. Of course, we know Josh Lucas. Cassidy, Freeman, Veronica, Falcon, and of course, we know Will Patton.
Ana de la Reguera. She is awesome. So when I saw that she was in it, that's definitely the thing that was like, okay, this might be the one that I'll check out.
Well, she was in Army of the Dead recently, so we did that one here this year. So
she got her horror cred.
Yeah, definitely. So this is the one where Mesca opens its borders for 6 hours for people. They basically, instead of just one day at the end of the purge, something happens and the rules are broken, and the purge continues on, making everything legal. So
that's the nightmare, right? That all these purges are leading up to the Forever Purge.
The Forever Purge. So it's paying off his long con. This James Monaco here. All right, let's move on. I'm sure people want to hear about more movies other than the Forever
Nah.
Purge. Up next is Till Death. Now, this is from director S.K. Dale, the writers Jason Carvey. The cast includes Megan Fox, who we haven't seen in a horror film in quite some time. I'm looking forward to that. Lili Rich, Callan, Mulvey, Eoin, Macken, and Jack Roth. It is coming out on the 2nd of July as well. This one is in some theaters, but also VOD. The synopsis is: a woman is left handcuffed to her dead husband as part of a sick revenge plot. Unable to unshackle, she has to survive as two killers arrive to finish her off. All right, come on. The poster's great. This sounds great. It's got Megan Fox, maybe in a role that we want her to be in. What do you think? Is this one on your radar?
Yeah, absolutely. I, like many others, am a Jennifer's Body fan.
Yeah.
I think she does great in the genre, and I really like this trailer. I love the imagery of her pulling her dead husband down on her wedding dress to try to drag him around. I thought that was great, and I think the action suspense parts of it looked pretty cool too. So yeah, I'm absolutely willing to give this a shot with Megan Fox. She gets a lot of crap because she's hot. But I
Everybody's
think
jealous, right?
everybody's just jealous. But no, I think she's gonna be great. Don't prove me wrong, Megan.
no, don't do that. I'm looking forward to this. I just like the idea. Of course, her being on ice on the trailer is very much part of the plot. It's out in a cabin. It's a lot of snow. In fact, one of the best shots in the trailer is when they go inside. They don't know where she is, and she popped up out of the snow in the background,
crazy, yeah.
which is great. So I think this is going to be one of those, final girl kind of, survive the trauma things. Of course, the first image we saw from this months ago was her, at the end of the bed with handcuffed to her dead husband. It was very intriguing imagery, and the trailer, I think, sells it as well. Looking forward to seeing this and covering it on H&R. All right, up next is was it 3 films, 3 weeks, 3 different decades of terror. It's Fear Street. And it is literally a trio of films. Even though it gets one entry here, we're treating it as one set of 3. But we gotta, you gotta watch all 3 nights. Starting in July 2nd with 1994, coming the next week with 1978, and then on July 16th going all the way back to 1666. I wanted to say it that way to get the 666 in there. It's based on, of course, the Fear Street books by the one and only R.L. Stine. The cast includes Olivia Scott Welch, Joan Jacob, Sadie Sink, a favorite, Shara Aurelia, and Charlene Amboya. Am I close on those names? I feel like I
think so.
Better than usual. The director is Lee Janiak, and the writers are Phil Grandezier and Lee again. I won't get into each of the synopsis, due to time, but basically, we when we start off with 1994, we know that there have been a reoccurring killings in this town, and all 3 films combine to make one story. I think this is unique, and it looks incredibly scary, and I hope this succeeds because I'd like to see more in this vein. I just like the idea. What draws your attention to Fear Street?
It looks amazing. It looks like so much fun. Classic slasher horror. The way that it's a group of kids too. I love when they get the right kids, right teenagers together that just really sell this kind of property. I love that it's taking place in different times and that it shoots it all the way back to 1666 because there's like some curse or something, right? That they're
Yes,
dealing with.
which is
Yeah, so come on, I'm gonna love that. It just great concept. I love the idea. I love how they're doing it and how it's like a kind of like a mini series in a way that they're doing. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Netflix is like really on top of it this year.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle the thread, right? The overall
Mm-hmm.
thread, because from what I gather, the lead characters are going to be in each movie,
Mm-hmm. A bit of
surrounding
American Horror Story-ish.
surrounding the larger story that we get. It's going to be a challenge for us to cover because there's so much stuff coming out. So we have a full slate in both H&R and Gruesome Magazine that doesn't include these 3 films. So we have some time shuffling and time management to do, but we have to do it because these look to be fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Speaking of Netflix, we also love our foreign films, and Netflix usually brings us at least one, if not them, what Shudder does. And this month we're going with Netflix, and we get an Italian feature with probably the greatest title ever, a classic horror story. But the trick is, beneath the surface lies something far more horrifying. This looks to be a gory good time, and it looks like the trailer has all the tropes, but in between the little tropes are these little teases that there is something much larger in store for us. And I am stoked. I am so curious about this, and I can't wait to see it. It arrives on the 14th of July on Netflix. We'll get into the cast and crew on this one. The synopsis is: in this gruesome suspense film, strangers traveling to southern Italy become stranded in the woods, and they must fight desperately to get out alive. That does sound like a classic horror story. What's your take on this?
Oh, I loved it. When I saw that it was Italian, I was like, yes, Italian horror, give it to me. And this really just does, the trailer does not disappoint of when you think Italian horror. And it just, I cannot wait for this one. This one caught me off guard when I was going through the list and watching them, at how excited I am to see the gore and to see the underlying true horror of what's going on. They're really showing it in a cool kind of tongue-in-cheek, not so much breaking the fourth wall, but aware that some freaky shit is going on.
Yeah, freaky shit.
I love it.
Oh, that's French. All right. All right. Okay. Did I mention July 14th? I did, right? All right. Up next is Escape Room Tournament of Champions. I labeled it Escape Room 2 just in case you didn't realize that. Of course you did. It's coming out on July 16th from director Adam Robitel. Winning was just a beginning. The way they put the Tournament of Champions, I can't think of anything but cereal boxes. But anyway, if you remember when we saw this a few years back, of course, it was supposed to have come out a couple of different dates over the past 18 months, like many films.
Yeah.
And the year before that, we saw the first one. It was the first one we saw that year. And our reviews were divided, but if you remember, I loved it. I just loved how, I loved the imagination in the rooms and the growing suspense and everything. I thought it was really well done. And of course, it was a January film, and it was great to have a January film that won, that, did a good job. Enough about me. What about you? Are you ready for a revisit to Escape Room, especially if it's Tournament of Champions?
Yeah, am I ready for the Tournament of Champions? I think so, because like you, I really enjoyed the first one. I got the fun out of this worldness of it, and this does not look like it's going to disappoint. It almost looks like they're taking a page from Saw in how they've ramped up the action. So yeah, it just looks fun, right? You don't have to take it seriously. You just go in, watch them play this wacky escape room game, and try to pick out who's going to survive to the end to be in the next tournament, right?
That's right. Now, of course, everyone on here has been in the escape room before. That's part of the actual title. So we're not giving anything away. So they do have to ramp it up just to keep them on their toes. And I think that adds it adds another level of excitement without having to repeat it. I mean, they're still going to repeat themselves, but it's not repeating in the same way, right? Where you come in, you don't know what's going on. No, they know what's going on right away. So do we. So we don't have to play that game, and they get into something entirely new. I like that. Taylor Russell and Logan Miller return from the first one. New ones are Thomas. How do you pronounce that name? Coquier?
Sure.
Okay. Holland Roden, India Moore, Carlito Olivero. Adam Robitel, of course, returns as a director. I'm excited for this. I'm excited.
Yeah, It's gonna be a fun one.
now we just got to poke Christopher G. Moore enough to go see it.
I think we can.
All right. Up next is an Australian film from RLJE Films called Great White. We've been getting, except for last year, of course, last year was a bye. We have been getting a shark movie every year recently. Starting with The Shallows, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And Meg is in there, and a couple
Uncaged.
of 47 meters down movies.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go with Great White, which I think we decided pre-show that this gets the Poster of the Month award.
Yeah. Look at that.
We might have to come up with like little tags to put on the screen. But I love this poster, and take your final breath. I love shark movies. There are some things in shark movies I don't like, when they growl and when people scream underwater. I am certain we're going to get that in this. There's no doubt.
Always screaming.
I know. I think that's part of what you expect now. Shark movies are a tough breed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Jaws set, that level so high, right? That bar so high, and nothing's ever going to achieve that. And lately they've found curious ways to kind of get around that. I thought The Shallows did a great job of that. Of course, Meg is a different, approach altogether.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this? Is this going to give us some excitement on at least that level?
I think so. I'm not normally a fan of the kind where they're out floating around and they have to figure out what to do, but there are some shots in this trailer that really made me jump, especially one at the end where you see him coming out next to the raft. It was pretty intense. And you know me, I will absolutely watch any great white shark movie out there, as Jaws being one of my favorites. So this one looks like it might, I don't know, it might get some jumps from me.
Yes, I think I think it just might. Directed by Martin Wilson, of course, comes out July 16th. Written by Michael Bogan. The cast includes Katrina Bowden, or Kate. I have Katrin. I think I left the A off. Katrina Bowden, Aaron Jakubenko, Kimi Sukakashi, Tim Kano, and Tei Koi Tuhaka. Which sounds, thank you. I normally don't do that. It's very Australian feeling, which is fine, because let's admit it, there's a lot of sharks down in Australia. It's a fun-filled flight to a remote atoll, which is like a inlet, right? Turns into a nightmare for 5 passengers when their seaplane is destroyed in a freak accident, and they are trapped in a raft 100 miles from shore with man-eating sharks lurking beneath the surface.
Yeah, it just randomly attacks its plane. That's a great way to start this. Love it.
All right, so that's coming out in probably select theaters, and I think it's a VOD release from RLJE Films, middle of the month. All right, up next, here's another thing that's, M. Night Shyamalan has, a very interesting career. He started off with one of the best horror films of the 90s, and then had one of the most interesting superhero films maybe ever made. Then had Signs, which is, I love it. And then it gets weird from there, to the point where he almost killed his career with stinker after stinker after stinker. And then he returned to his roots and has now resurfaced as, one of the most reliable horror filmmakers, or genre filmmakers, I should say, in the business. He's really recaptured that original sense. The last few movies have been a blast to watch. And now we have something that is incredibly different coming to theaters July 23rd. And it's simply titled Old. And it has an interesting cast with Rufus Sewell, Eliza Shanlin, Abby Lee, Alex Wolff. And it's based on the novel by Pierre Oscar Levy and Frederick Peters, I guess, wrote it together. And groups of people go to a secluded beach to find out that while they're relaxing, they start to age. um, the idea is pretty incredible and frightening because I think we're all afraid of getting old, and especially getting old too soon, and all the fears that go with it. And I'm sure they're all going to be applied here. Becoming um, more fragile and memory and all kinds of things. I'm sure are going to be tackled. The trailers don't say that, but you kind of get that idea and of course the kids grow fast and it looks fantastic. I'm excited to see this. Am I alone? How about you? Are you what
Mm.
should people be excited about seeing old?
Yeah, absolutely. I felt extremely uncomfortable watching this trailer.
Did
It
you?
Yes, because you just don't know what's gonna happen, and then they can't leave this atoll that they're on, and the performance of the older kids is just so very, like, it's just really kind of scary because they're really selling it that this
Hmm.
has happened, and then watching the older people get that much older and all these bodies washing up and all this stuff that's on the beach left behind from these people. But what is it, There's still that underlying possible supernatural thing going on, their creature or something. So I like something that Shyamalan does so well is he weaves those in. He weaves the reality into the supernatural, and it's beautiful when it works, right?
Hmm.
And I think
Yes,
it's
yes.
really gonna work here.
Yeah, I think it works best when he doesn't feel that pressure that he has to,
Mhm.
and here he's coming from a source material, so I think that helps, and it does look fantastic. I am
Mhm.
looking forward to this. All right, up last, but certainly not least, on July 30th is The Green Knight. Now we've heard a lot about this. This is perhaps more fantasy oriented, but it is definitely horrific. In the last trailer we saw, there is a monster, and the monster gets beheaded only to grab its own head, laugh at them, and tell you they have 1 year. This is the tale of Sir Gawain, right? Or Gawain? I don't
Gwen,
know how.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Gawain.
Yeah.
And the Green Knight. It is a fantasy retelling of that medieval story from writer-director David Lowery. The cast includes Dave Patel, and he looks fantastic in this.
Wow,
Alicia,
yeah.
yeah, Alicia Vikander, Joel
Yeah.
Edgerton, Sean Harris as the king, and we've talked about him recently. He just has that voice that just wins this. Aaron
Mhm.
Kellerman, who we talked about in recent the Falcon and the Winter Soldiers,
Mhm.
and Ralph Ineson plays the Green Knight. So the actual creature, and this I normally I don't like kind of the sword and sandally kind of thing, or knight stuff.
Not a sword and shield guy.
No, no, not normally. I can be, and for this one, this is A24. I am on board. I am looking. This one has me. It has me because of the cast. It has me because of the director, and it has me. That last trailer totally sold me on the whole idea of how they're approaching the story. I can't wait to see it. I think this is the winner of the month.
I can't disagree. This movie is gonna be epic. Just completely epic. And the fact that they cast Patel in the lead role is just fantastic. It's fantastic that they chose him, and he just looks so he looks cool to say, but also, he's looking distraught the whole time because he's on this hero's journey of his own. And I cannot wait to watch this story. I'm a sword and shield girl.
Yeah,
So I am very, very excited. Yeah, way, way back. We're talking about Merlin, 70s, King Arthur. Give it to me, and I'll take it.
Excalibur and all
Excalibur, I love it.
that.
I love it. Monty Python doing it, I don't care. I'll take
I'll,
it.
I'll give you Monty Python. Do that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, right. No, this looks just really badass.
I it's convinced me. It's convinced me,
Mhm.
and to make it, a subgenre that I'm not eager to watch most of the time to be the one, even over a shark movie that I'm the most anticipated is, and I love shark movies, is quite an achievement. But it
Mhm.
it certainly has sold me. And this of course was about to come out right before the pandemic hit last year, pushed back to this month, and I don't know if this is a summer film, but I'm certainly eager to see it. And
A
A24 is got a good track record.
Absolutely, yeah. I kinda think now is the time for that movie.
I feel like it might be.
Yeah.
It definitely will capture people's attention.
Yeah. And it's at the right time where more people are back in the theaters. I think it's gonna hit a nerve.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yep. Yeah, and it's we're going to be, by the time the end of July hits, we're in the middle of superhero films again, right? So, Black Widow will be out. We're getting ready for the Suicide Squad in the 1st of August. So,
Mm-hmm.
People are going to look for something different, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
this one feels more real, a little bit more gritty, a story that more people might be familiar with, not such a big budget, Suicide Squad type stuff, but something that's more entrenched
yeah.
in the hero's journey.
Not that I'm saying those films aren't going to do well, because those films
Oh
are going to
God,
do well.
King Shark.
No, my gosh. But Dave Patel, I wouldn't have thought Dave Patel as being a leading man at carrying a film like this, but you know what? Actually, he is,
Yeah,
and has been, but we just haven't really looked at it that way.
yeah.
Um,
I'm absolutely. I'm so kind of shocked and so happy that he was cast in this role because it's not something you would normally see someone like Dave Patel cast in. You know, it really is awesome to see.
yes. All right, so there you go. That's our 8 films for this month. I'll run through them again real quick. We have the Forever Purge. You got to say it like that. Till Death, Fear Street, and that's 3 movies. So essentially, we did 10. The classic horror story, Escape Room, Tournament of Champions. Got to give that one a little. Great White. Okay, that one was a tough one to beat there. Green Knight. Old and the Green Knight. And this is just the beginning. The rest of the year looks equally fantastic. Where it's going to be an exciting 5 more months of 2021 after this to continue doing our gruesome guides.
Flying by already.
Stop. I know it'll be 2022 before you know. All right. If you're listening, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. We hope you're enjoying these guides and also all the reviews that we have on the site. We have, Horror News Radio doing most of what we're talking about here, the theatrical films. We have Gruesome Magazine doing the streaming and video on demand. We have Heroes and Droids, which are tackling all the superhero films, some of which we mentioned in passing tonight. And we also have a series of Decades of Horror shows that cover, the retro films. I personally do the 70s. I love 70s. But we also have 80s and the classic era. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool things ahead of us, and a lot of cool things outside of that, even in the coming months. Stick with us, hang out, and we appreciate you being here. And as much, if not more, than I appreciate Vanessa being here. That came out wrong, but I.
You can appreciate me the most. That's
there
fine.
You go.
I will accept all your patronage.
There you go. All right, and with that, let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night. What? I'm sitting there. Where's the button? You know where the button is? The button is right here.